Let's think about that though, man. With the sun, never ever, I mean, the sun will never ever be kind to humans. Everything is created for a particular reason. The sun is hot as it is for a reason. Hunky's skin burn for a reason. That's something we need to recognize. Hunky's skin burns for a reason. It should let you know. It's another one of my cuts. It should let you know. Ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening. And Europeans are only wired. They're only wired for death. Again, that's all they can give you. They don't have nothing else to give you. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, we've got to teach our children that this diversity here. Just think about this. Where do we fit into a society that is so damn diverse now that they want to divert away from the use of a woman and a man and bring a robot into the goddamn situation? Where do human people who are of hue or people who are melanated or carbonated, where do people who have a soul and a spirit, okay, born of a mother and a father, where in the hell do we fit in this here scheme of diversity now? So like I said, they throwing away people, period, now to bring robots in, giving robot citizenship and all that. Is that diversity too? I mean, our rights ain't been met yet, and they still stepping on our black ass head. And now you're gonna bring robot into just totally remove what diversity is doing. Diversity, I mean, that's why I say society is so diverse, and they using robots. Don't need to nobody no more. I see the what is it? I think it was in Seattle. I seen Amazon, I think it was in Seattle, some Amazon store or something like that. Goddamn, they ain't got no cashiers. No cashiers. You use your smartphone. You walk into the store, and there's items on the shelf. You pick items up, the shelf, your smartphone gets you in, gets you access, right? Then when you in there, you put what you want the shelf, I guess put it in the car, and you run it through your smartphone machine or whatever, and it takes the money right off your car. The numbers, ain't no money. It takes the numbers basically off your car or through your smartphone. They making all these goddamn smart robotic devices. Is that what diversion is all about? You mean to tell me we try to divert ourselves into a society of hunkydom, only to goddamn be replaced in the end with a goddamn robot or be chipped? Is that part of diversity? Hunkies know damn well they asses are artificial. They are already artificial intelligence. It's the hunky. He and she is already AI, artificial intelligence. That's the only individual that will make some bullshit like that is a goddamn artificial creature. I'm gonna have to come and talk about them damn sex dolls and all that stuff in my next video. They even got them. This is how diverse the society has become. They even got dolls, sex dolls for the pedophiles, so that the pedophile won't molest a child. They're so diverse. They know their so-called version of life is so damn deep. And they cannot stop pedophilia. They can't stop punking men from raping little boys. It's what they do. They're gonna keep doing. So to divert them from that, they'll give them the diversion, which is a blow-up doll in the form of a child. I'm sorry, kid. They making kid-sized hunky blow-up dolls for these goddamn white pedophile hunkies, these Asian hunkies. I mean, Asian, they hunkies to me. Asians and all the Arabs, and to me, all of them hunkies. They all the Neanderthal monkeys in the goddamn way. This is what they're doing. This is how diverse the society has become. They even making damn electronic and robotic animals, snakes and insects and birds. They're doing the whole damn thing. Matter of fact, they're so goddamn diverse now, they've given a robot citizenship. I don't want to talk about it too much. We can talk about that. Right. It will eventually cancel itself out. And when it goes, the hunky gonna be gone with it too. Hunkies are on the way out of this realm. Their numbers are dropping. More hunkies today are dying than being born on the planet. Again, more hunkies are dying than being born on the planet. Their version of white supremacy or life, that's the only way they know how to live it, is white supremacy. That's the only way hunkies know how to live life on this planet, is if they are supreme beings. They have to. And that thought process is dying because Nectar is not allowing the white woman, he's not allowing that damn white man's sperm to reach that damn decrepit ass hunky bitch head and create no more than a little glass money. They're tired. Nectar is tired of hunkies. So it's cutting them off from being able to procreate, which is a good thing. Now, their way of life will fucking die in this goddamn diversity. It's an excellent thing to see these monkeys drop the fuck off. I'm so happy to see that their numbers are dwindling. I mean, matter of fact, it's a show called Zoo. I've been watching lately for the last few nights. Zoo? Okay, that's the business. In the zoo, it showed that the animals all across the globe, in all these areas, that are so-called diverse and multicultural and all this for the monkey runs, all these animals were communicating with each other and developed a plan to kill off these goddamn crackers. To kill off their goddamn oppressors. Ain't nobody but the hunky. Ain't nobody that got it. Ain't nothing but that goddamn hunky. Anything that crawl, fall, drop, bust open the goddamn white woman snatch is trouble. Any damn thing that come out of her womb need to be quarantined. Matter of fact, you need to quarantine all these white bitches. All you white bitches need to do us all a favor and start killing your goddamn kids. Because actually, in actuality, ain't nothing wrong with the world but you monkeys. And y'all wanting to control the goddamn world. That's the problem. I see the hunky drop bombs on you if you don't follow the goddamn rules. So, I mean, this is how they control the world. This is how they want to make the world diverse and multicultural. And see, you can tell another thing about the country. You can tell he's a goddamn liar. Because in Africa, see, he talks this multiculturalism stuff. But when they take their ass to Africa, what they doing over there now? They made sure, okay, in South Africa, hunkies went over to South Africa. These knuckle-dragging cave bellies these snow bunnies and cave bunnies and these beasts, these bedrock cracker hummies, Neanderthal beasts, these goddamn RH factor creatures carry their ass to the motherland and develop all white towns. How you gonna take your ugly, decrepit, nasty, diseased, lice-headed ass over to another land and just set up a goddamn all-white country? I mean, all-white town? And then think you have the right to actually be there. And then turn around and tell us here that complain or are angry about what's going on to go back to Africa. Damn, man, really? Don't you?
All right, shalom, ladies, shalom. You know what? It don't matter. We are still going to have fun with the information I gathered for our live stream. Okay. Some people might have just forgotten about it, but that's okay. You know, we can't let the fact that there's not a lot of people here stop us from getting things done. So many of you might have heard about the flu. This flu is damn near at pandemic level. I'm going to show you some articles that I'm pulled and we're going to discuss. This thing is incredibly deep, and wait until I start showing you certain things. And again, whatever we discuss in the patron hangout will not be discussed publicly. So, you know, maybe at one point in time when the videos are a few months old, I might release them to everyone else. But for now, this is just for patrons. So this thing is actually reaching pandemic. You think it's bad in the US? You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until I show you the information of how many people are dying overseas of the flu. Now let's start with, oh, this is one I'm going to save for last. This is really a good one, but let's start with the US. Right now, I'm going to show, let me go ahead and share my screen with you so you can see this. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully you can see the screen. Right now, there are 100 people per week dying of the flu virus in America. 100 people per week. And of course, these are stories they are simply not going to tell you at all. But that's what we're up to in the US. And I'm sure in the coming weeks that 100 per week will grow way beyond what we're looking at right now. So if you think that's something, look at this. There's many versions of this flu overseas. There's what's called the Aussie flu, which is hit in the UK. There's also one called the French flu, and there's one called the Japanese flu, and that's also in the UK. All of these different versions of the flu taking people out like you wouldn't believe. And right now, so far in the UK, wait until I show you how many people have died of the Aussie flu in the UK. And about 300 died of the Aussie flu in Australia. The French flu, so far about 30 people in France. And then there's what's called the Japanese flu, which is hitting Greater Manchester, UK. But it gets even better. Check out this one, Ireland. The Aussie flu is in Ireland. And so far, it's killed 370 people. 370 in Ireland. And there's over 170,000 influenza cases in that country right now. Now look at this one. The Aussie flu and cold weather leads to Britain's highest weekly death toll for 3 years. 15,000 died in the UK of this Aussie flu the second week of January. Second week of January. Look at that number. 15,000 people passed away the second week of January of the Aussie flu and cold weather, freezing temperatures in the UK. See, over there, they're already calling it a flu epidemic. And it's really, when you see these numbers, it's bad in Australia too. Australia is getting beat bad by this flu. So 15,000. And right here, it says, according to their Office of National Statistics, it's 15,050 deaths reported for the week ending Friday, the 12th of January. It's bad. It is really, really bad. It's really bad, y'all. I definitely wanted to get you up to date on what's going on. You just can't imagine how bad. Hi, Craig J. You can't imagine how bad things are with this flu. And they're never going to tell you that that's 15K people in 1 week. 1 week in the UK. So yes, it has gotten bad. This thing is pandemic. I just simply don't believe that this is natural. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't feel this is natural at all. I just simply don't. It is something eerie about this entire thing. So those are the reports of the flu. Believe me, it is far worse than anything we heard here in the US. So, I'll keep an eye on that. But right now in the US, it's 100 people per week dying of the flu. Yeah, this is crazy. I never seen no flu season like this ever. Ever. Something is definitely off this year. It's just something that it is just not normal. This mess ain't normal at all. I would not be surprised if, they did something, because they're always putting mess in the air with chemtrails and everything. It's easy for them to get up there and spray a virus all across the US and across Europe. It's easy for them to do any type of virus on us. But we will see. We will see if this thing will run its course during the flu season, or it will run beyond. You just never know. But I do not feel that this is a natural phenomena. I really believe. I took pictures of the chemtrail today, shaped like two swords, like a big X. I wouldn't be surprised, Jada. I mean, this is crazy. I just don't understand what's going on this year, but something is definitely happening out of the ordinary. Yeah, chemical warfare. I don't think this is a test run, Craig J, because people are dying. I think this is the real thing. And I think they're ready to try multiple things. to try to get people out of here. And the funny part is, y'all, it's killing mostly white people. That's the thing. Every time I see the stories, I'm going to show you some of the recent flu stories that are hitting the news. You're not seeing a lot of Black children, men, and women. Every time I pull these stories up, it's a lot of white kids, white adults, but I have yet to see any Black child being reported as dying from the flu. I haven't seen it yet. So let me show you the latest that have died over the last few days. Now, let's see, flu deaths. Let me go back to that. All right. You have this teen right here that died of the flu. Okay, and they're now saying 30 children.
It's always scary
Out
when
of
you
the
hear of
ones.
someone dying from something as common as the flu. There are 4 main ways the flu can turn deadly. The first and most common cause is pneumonia. The influenza virus can directly cause viral pneumonia. Once someone has the flu, it can weaken their immune system so much that another virus or bacteria can enter the lungs. Infected lungs fill with fluid, making it difficult to breathe, so oxygen can't get to the rest of the body, which can lead to death. Sepsis is the second way the flu can become lethal, especially in healthy younger adults and children. Sepsis occurs when a person's immune system goes into overdrive trying to fight the flu. This causes inflammation, which can lead to a cascade of symptoms that ultimately ends in organ failure. A third way the flu can kill is by increasing your risk of heart attack. Experts say an adult's risk of heart attack increases 6-fold in the 7 days following a flu diagnosis. The fourth way the flu can kill is by dehydration, particularly among infants and young children. The flu often causes vomiting and diarrhea, which can quickly become life-threatening if fluids aren't replaced in the body. So if you get the flu, when should you be worried? Some people have a higher risk for serious complications from the flu, including the elderly, children under the age of 5, pregnant women, and those with chronic health problems. If this is you, make sure you see a doctor. If you're a healthy older child or adult, watch out for sudden dizziness, severe persistent vomiting, difficulty breathing, pain or pressure in the chest or abdomen, and flu-like symptoms that improve then return with a fever or worse cough.
Okay, so they are saying globally, they're estimating that there may be like 3 to 5 million flu cases. Now, let me show you this. This is a 12-year-old, and it was reported that he died 4 hours ago. This is a 12-year-old. Now, some people said, oh, these are people with pre-existing medical conditions. No, that's not true. A lot of these children did not have pre-existing medical issues. So this 12-year-old just died. And this story is only 4 hours old. And this is a single mother, this Caucasian woman. She died. And she actually went to the doctor. The doctor sent her home, and she ended up dying. And there's a child here, same scenario. This is a 6-year-old. An ambulance was called. Her mother called an ambulance. The ambulance came out there, looked at her, said she had the flu. She was going to be all right. She ended up dying 3 days later. And she was 6 years old. 6-year-old girl from North Carolina. She died. All right. And 8 deaths in Kentucky. And I already told you about the 15,000 that died the second week in January in Britain. And there's flu deaths in Arkansas. Said it doubled the third week. Yeah, I mean, this is really, really bad. All right, this is Chicago, but they're not reporting any deaths in Chicago. All right, Midland, 7 flu deaths. I believe that's Texas. Hilton Head reports flu deaths. That's South Carolina. Yeah, and a 2-year-old girl died from flu complications in Hattiesburg. See, it's bad. I mean, every day, but like I said, I'm not seeing any black children. The ones that I see are all non-black children and non-black people that are dying. So if they are doing this on purpose, they're doing a lousy job at getting us because they're getting their own people. But you never know, they may actually want them out of here. You just don't know. But like I said before, this is a critical time that we keep ourselves healthy in your families. Very critical. It is bad out here. In fact, it seems like it's bad on a global scale right now. It is really bad. Many people do believe this is a um, this is, germ warfare, biochemical germ warfare that's happening. It's not far-fetched. Shalom, the Vanguard. I'm going to do a video on you soon. I've been watching your videos on your channel. I'm going to do a video on you real soon. And so, it is critical. Keep your hands washed throughout the day. Just make sure you're very careful out in public, especially with people around. It was saying that this H3N2 flu strain passes around it's very contagious and it's fast moving, y'all. So you can be exposed to somebody within minutes and get this particular flu. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I became your patron. And my pleasure. You're like the 6th person that I actually support on Patreon, and I hope that I can support more real soon. It is. It's already starting out that way. Wait until you see the other things that I have. I mean, the flu is just the beginning. So you can see places like Scotland, Ireland, Great Britain, France, Japan. All of these places are really, they're reporting a bad flu outbreak. And like I said, this may not be flu at all, y'all. It may be, because there are so many things that mimic a cold and flu, but that's not actually what it is. So whatever it is, it's flu-like, and it's deadly. Very deadly. So you'll stock up on all that healthy stuff. All right, so now that we covered the flu, we are going to move on to the school shootings. And people are angry at Trump, saying that he has not spoken about one single school shooting in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been 11 school shootings in the month of January, and Trump has not said a damn word. He ain't say a damn word. 11 school shootings just in the month of January. So let's go on to this article so you can see this. The Kentucky school shooting is the 3rd just this week and the 11th in the U.S. so far this year, and we're still in January. So let me go down to this point in the article. Look at this. Look at this list. Here's a list of all the school shootings already in 2018. Starting on January 3rd, a 31-year-old man shot and killed himself in the parking lot of his former elementary school in Michigan. On January 4th, shots were fired at New Start High School outside of Seattle. No one was hit or hurt. On January 5th, a bullet from a pellet gun shattered the window of a Forest City school bus full of students while in transit. No one was injured. Look at all these shootings. January 9th, a 14-year-old male student committed suicide in a bathroom of an elementary school in Arizona. On January 10th, a bullet fired from off campus hit a building at the California State University, San Bernardino. No one was injured. January 10th, a student from Grayson College in Texas accidentally fired a bullet during a gun training session with an instructor, but no one was hurt. January 15th, police in Marshall, Texas responded to reports of gunfire just after midnight on the Wiley College campus. A stray bullet entered one of the dormitories, but no one was hit. This is incredible. January 20th, a Winston-Salem, that's North Carolina, State University football player was shot and killed during an on-campus event. January 22nd, a 16-year-old shot and injured a female student several times at Italy High School in Texas. Another one on January 22nd, someone in a pickup truck fired at a group of students gathered in front of the Net Chatter School in New Orleans. One boy was injured. And January 23rd, just yesterday, a 15-year-old student at a high school in Kentucky shot and killed 2 students and injured 17 others. This is just in the month of January, y'all. This is just January. Do you see this shit? This is just January. This year is going to be pure hell for the House of Edom. It's going to be pure hell for them. Yeah, you're right. Cave identity extremists. This year is already showing signs of their demise. It really is. And also look at it this way. All of these shootings were either in or around a school. Maybe the Most High is showing us their kids are going to be a big target this year. I mean, you can't ignore this at all. All right, let's go on.
On Tuesday, it was a high school in Kentucky. Monday, a school cafeteria outside Dallas, a charter school parking lot in New Orleans as well. There have been 11 shootings at schools in the first 23 days of this year. In October, after the Vegas shooting, you said it was an unspeakable tragedy from that podium. Said it was a day for consoling survivors and mourning those who we lost. You said there's a time and place for political debate. What has the president done in the time since October to try to prevent any of these shootings from taking place?
Look, I think first and foremost, to recognize that any loss of life is incredibly sad, and any shooting at any school across this country is something that should never happen. Students fearing for their lives while they're attempting to get an education is unacceptable. Certainly in this administration and by this administration, the president believes that all Americans deserve to be safe in their schools and in their communities. We've had 2 years of increased violence prior to the president taking office. We've tried to crack down on crime throughout the country. The president instructed his administration to make the recent crime wave a top priority. Some of the things that they've accomplished in that process and been focused on is they've charged more defendants with violent crime offenses than in any year in decades. They've charged the most federal firearm prosecutions in a decade, and they've convicted 1,200 gang members and took down numerous drug trafficking organizations, all in an attempt to help create safer and better communities and certainly safer schools. Thanks so much,
Wait, Sarah,
guys.
to be clear, you said we all agree that we want students to be safe at schools. That's not in dispute. And we all agree we don't want there to be crime. But what is the president specifically doing? You guys said at the time today was not the day, but we should have these policies.
I just read off a lot of the things that he's doing.
We should have a policy conversation. So the question is, what is the policy the president's willing to pursue or actively direct others to pursue to help make sure that these students are safe?
Look, I know the Department of Justice instructed ATF to do a thorough review on a number of firearm provisions. That is ongoing, and it will be submitted to the Office of Management and Budget. We're going through that process. That policy review and that policy discussion is taking place. At the same time, the president has instructed the Department of Justice to crack down and make the crime wave that took place long before the president ever came into office a major priority. And you're seeing that happen. You're seeing a Department of Justice that is being active, empowering its law enforcement to crack down on crime. And that's what those results that I just read out to you show.
You know what? I can't listen to her. She's full of shit. Number one, hi, S. Wiseman. Number one, there were no 11 shootings when Obama was in office. This did not happen. Okay. It's happening now because they don't want to admit the biggest problem when it comes down to shooting in America are white males. They don't want to admit this. They will dance around this. They'll scream mental illness, but it is not that. Okay? It's got to be something way deeper than some mental illness. Something is seriously wrong with these damn people. 11 shootings, and this month ain't even over yet. This is crazy. But this is what happened. You know, this is what's happening. A lot of people are frustrated with Trump because he has not spoken on this at all. And we all know why he's not speaking on it, because it's white males. Anytime it's white males, he goes silent. But I bet if it was some Arab men or some Hispanics or some black man, especially black men, oh, they would have been all over the TV. They would have been screaming for the death penalty. They would have been screaming that somebody get this guy and do this. They would want the fullest punishment to the letter of the law. See, they only follow the law with black people. They do not follow and practice the law with anyone else. And they've been doing that for centuries. Whatever they have written into law, they carry it out to the letter when they're dealing with black people. When they're dealing with their own or anyone else, they don't do it. They never do that, ever. So you can clearly see there are some huge problems going on, and they don't want to admit this. They just simply don't want to admit it. And it's the white male. The biggest killer in America is and always has been the white male. And you're seeing that pattern even now with all of these shootings. If that weren't the case, Trump would have been out screaming at the top of his lungs and all over Twitter and in front of a mic if that were not the case. And another thing, when you go through each one of these 11 shootings, they never mention the name of the shooter. That's another indicator that, yes, that's another indicator, y'all, that these are not black males. Because if it was black males, they would have had your name, your whole life history in the media. but they are completely silent on many of these shooters. They won't even tell you their names. Yeah, 11 shootings from January 3rd through January 23rd. So, of course, they're going to handle this with double standards that we see all the time. You know? Okay, so now let's go on to our next story. Now, you know that there's been all the stories dropping about Trump's affairs with all these women. And I read an article that before Trump ran, during his campaign, Trump paid off like 100 women that he's had sexual contact with. 100 women. And you heard about this Stormy Daniels, the porn star, that he actually had an affair with while Melania was pregnant with Barron. Well, this week, Melania was supposed to travel to Switzerland with Trump. Okay, she was supposed to travel with him. She abruptly canceled the trip because of all this stuff that's coming out with Trump being with this porn star. Okay. There has been rumors out for a while that Melania was actually going to present Trump with divorce papers. But when he won the election, she backed off. But she was actually trying to get out of this marriage with Donald Trump. Okay. And Donald Trump won, so she just felt like, okay, I'll just stick around long enough to do this first lady thing. I don't know now. Now that we are seeing, I know I got my phone attached to this right now, so sorry about that. Now that we are seeing this whole thing unfolding with her refusing to travel with Trump now, it's no telling what's going to happen, y'all. She may end up presenting those divorce papers no matter what at this point. So, you know, these are the stories that's in the news. This one's from People. Where were the cutesy tweets from Melania and Donald Trump on their 13th wedding anniversary? This is actually their wedding anniversary. Now, let me show you what other couples that were in the White House did on their wedding anniversary. All right, so this is a picture that Obama put on, let me see, I believe this is Instagram, and he gave Michelle some roses on her birthday, and he actually sent this out on social media, showing the picture and the card, of the flowers and card he gave Michelle. Okay. Then Michelle Obama did this one on their 25th anniversary. And this was October 3rd, 2017. And then this is another one that Obama sent out on their 24th wedding anniversary to Michelle. And this one's dated October 3rd, 2016. So, you know, presidents go out on social media, just expressing their love for each other. Happy anniversary. Again, October 3rd, 2015. Barack Obama tweeted this out about his anniversary with Michelle. And you see Michelle also doing the same thing on Twitter. Thank you for being an incredible partner, friend, and father every day. I love you. And then here is one back from Obama, 2012. So, presidents do this. This is one George Bush sent out for his wedding anniversary 70 years ago. This very day, Barbara Pierce of Rye, New York, made me the happiest, luckiest man. So presidents do this. This is George Bush tweet about his 40 years with Laura Bush. All right. And you see right here, happy birthday from Laura to George Bush. So you see this happening, and this is another one for their anniversary. George Bush and Laura, they were an ugly couple, but let's move on. So anyway, now we are at the wedding anniversary of the Trumps. Now, you know how Trump loves Twitter. He got everything to say on Twitter. Neither him or Melania went out there on their 13th wedding anniversary, which is, I think, is today, their 13th wedding anniversary, and said a damn thing. And all Trump does is run his mouth on Twitter. That right there should tell you their marriage is in trouble. Their marriage is in trouble, y'all. Their marriage is in trouble. They stayed silent on said, how Trump's on social media. You know damn well he would have had his mouth flapping about this if everything was okay with him and Melania. But see, all that stuff that came out with him laying with a porn star while she was pregnant, and all that's coming out. I think she's so pissed. I wouldn't even be surprised if Melania is no longer at the White House. And she done took her butt right back over to Trump Tower, where she always wanted to be anyway. Okay. So everybody is asking, well, what's going on? How come we haven't heard anything about you two on your 13th wedding anniversary? Nothing from him, nothing from Melania. And the only thing that seeped out in the news is she's refusing to travel to Switzerland with them now. So, and how Michelle Obama always went to many places around the world with Obama when he was the president. She went you saw her in India, you saw her over in the Arab world with them, and of course the UK and places like that, but she ain't traveling with his ass. Oh, trust me. Craig J., I don't know if you were here, but they said Trump paid off 100 women. 100 women he gave money to, hush money to. And look, he gave 130,000 to this porn star, and she's still running her mouth all in the media. So much for that. And there's more articles on it right here. Newsweek on wedding anniversary, Melania Trump cancels trip with president to Davos, which is in Switzerland. And this is just a parody that they did about it on, on TV. Everybody's poking fun at it. But yeah, I mean, she done went on about her business. Now, she did post this one picture about his 1 year in office, but she posted it with her and this dude. This ain't Trump. She didn't even post a picture with herself and Trump on his 1 year anniversary since he took office. Don't you find that odd? I mean, that's just weird. The one picture she did post didn't even have Donald Trump in it. Yeah, she's pissed at his ass. She is real pissed. So I just wanted to show y'all that because I find this hilarious. Yeah, that's probably the one she really is laying down with. Woo, things ain't too good in Trump land. Oh man, I can imagine the hell she's probably putting him through now. But I don't know. He might be the first divorced president, y'all. Or he's going to have to pay her a lot of money to hold tight until his presidency is over. But Trump is just the Russian investigation and him calling Africa and Haiti the shithole. He was arguing with Mexico online. And now his wife is ready to jump ship on his ass. I don't believe she's there. I think after all this broke and she got mad and everything and canceled that trip, if she's still in Washington, I'll be shocked. I really don't think she's still there. Woo, Trump's life is just as messy as the rest of them. That's what it goes. That man don't have no control over his life. His life is a mess. And you would figure somebody with a million, a millionaire trust fund baby, he would have it more together, but he just don't. That sounds like some ghetto drama to me. Yeah. Her sister is in New York. Melania has a sister. I believe it's an older sister. She has a sister that is in New York. And I believe she's in Trump Tower too. But her sister's there. And they're very close. So I wouldn't doubt that she went back to New York. At all. And boy, she can take Trump to the cleaners. Because this affair has hit the wires. It's like everybody knows about it. You know what? I don't think she'll commit suicide. I think she's going to stick around and clean his ass out. She's going to clean him out. Yeah. I don't think they were but so happy anyway. I really think that I don't believe they were really, I think a lot of what they do is for show. It's just they got a weird relationship. You can kind of tell. And and I've heard other people say they sleep separately. They don't even sleep in the same room together. So I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that from several people. True Royal said he wears diapers, so it might not be far-fetched that she ain't laying in the same bed with Dookie Boy. Yeah. All right. Now, there's one more story that we're going to go over. Oh, actually, two. There's two. There's another really good one that I'm going to go over with y'all. All right. So now, there is a doctor. He was Polish. And they actually grabbed his butt up for deportation. So, and he was in the country for 40 years. So this is his family. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
79, my parents were both doctors, left Poland and took 2 suitcases and 2 small children. My brother was 5, I was 6. And they came here for a better life for their kids.
Now the siblings are in their mid-40s. She's an attorney, he a doctor. They've been in America for 4 decades on a permanent green card.
He doesn't even speak Polish.
On Tuesday, as he was enjoying a day off with his tween girls at his home on the lake in this exclusive neighborhood near Kalamazoo, 3 immigration and customs enforcement officers came to his home, told him he was being taken into custody, and took him to jail in handcuffs.
The question I get all the time is, why do you think this happened? And I just really don't know.
ICE won't comment on the case, and no hearings have been held. A bond hearing may not come until February, and it's unlikely that bond will be granted, according to immigration law experts.
Until this gets heard, which could be up to 6 months, he could be stuck in a prison cell and not helping and being with his family.
The only spot on Neese's record, 2 misdemeanor convictions when he was 17, one for destruction of property less than $100, and another receiving and concealing stolen goods. He pleaded to these charges more than 25 years ago under the Holmes Youthful Trainee Act. That allows young first offenders to avoid a criminal record if they never offend again. But ICE, as a federal agency, does not honor that state plea agreement, something Neese says he did not know when he took the plea.
You know, these misdemeanors were just an adolescent making mistakes and learning from them. He cannot be deported back to Poland, a country he doesn't know. He has no family at. Both our parents passed away here in the United States. We don't know anyone. He wouldn't even know where to go.
Now Neese awaits his fate in jail.
We did go see him on Wednesday. He was shaking. He's in an orange t-shirt, just kind of shell-shocked.
The doctor's wife said their 2 daughters need their dad.
He's an excellent physician. He's loving. He's caring. He's an honorable husband, and he's always helping others.
Bronson's administration would not comment on the case, but dozens of doctors and other employees are sending letters of support.
And he's been just completely the model physician that you want the physicians to be. You know, the only danger I can see him on is when he's swinging his golf swing.
He's exactly the kind of person that our immigration policy should be encouraging to prosper here. He's been here for 40 years. This is a ridiculous situation. He's just a good guy. I mean, he just is.
Mark Ash, an immigration attorney, said in the last year, ICE has broadened its scope.
These days, again, there's less discretion being exercised in who they go after. They're being more aggressive, generally speaking.
He's the person I call whenever anything goes wrong or right. And now I can't do that. And it's breaking me up.
Now to this, federal immigration agents made a move to crack.
So there you go. They grabbed up a Polish doctor and got his ass the hell on out of here. Yeah, a white dude from Poland. So they're getting everybody out of here, I guess, that don't belong here. You know them. Everybody's a good guy, whatever. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if this man might have pissed someone off. Who knows? Another dude from Jordan. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Seriously. All right. Now let's see. Oh, yeah, this is one that I also wanted to do. The flu in this country, and this is really true, this year, severe flu exposes serious problems with our medical system, which is very true. There are a lot of hospitals diverting people to other hospitals, and you got California setting up tents for their flu patients because the ER was so overwhelmed with all of these people with the flu. And it does expose one thing. The U.S. is not prepared for any type of epidemic of this magnitude. They're really not prepared for it. And that's what it's really exposing too about the flu. She should go on that trip. And then when they go on camera, she walk up with that accent, I want divorce. And you see Trump standing there like a zombie. Okay, so. Okay, so now. Let's go on. Now, this one is really going to make you laugh. Now, you know how China is being these days towards the West and the US. You know, they are trying to take over everything, but there is something really important that's going on now. China actually takes in trash from the US and Europe. Well, China says it no longer wants US and European trash in their country. So right now, the US is scrambling and don't know what to do with all the waste that they used to import to dump over in China from trash all around this country. China won't take it no more. So let me get into this. The country has been the world's wastebasket for decades, but starting January 1st, China has said no more. On January 1st, China made good on a promise to close all borders to several types of import waste. By the next day, panic had already taken hold in countries across Europe and North America as trash began piling up by the ton, with no one having a clue where to now dispose of all of it. For more than 20 years, China has been the world's recycling bin, accepting an enormous quantity of recyclable waste from nations worldwide. But 2016, China processed at least half of the world's exports: waste, plastic, paper, and metal, some 7.3 million tons of trash in all. The US exported 16 million tons of waste to China that year, worth about 5.2 billion. Britain sent China enough garbage to fill 10,000 Olympic-sized pools. So China says, fuck you, we ain't taking your trash no more. Okay? And just in mere weeks, right here, mere weeks after the ban took effect, waste management facilities in several countries, including the US, Canada, and the UK and Germany, are groaning under the weight of trash that no one seems to know what to do with. There is absolutely no one right now on this globe willing to take trash from the US. The trash is piling up in the US. Now, you know what happens when trash piles up: disease. So far, they can't find no one on this planet to import US trash to. And China said no more. Woo! So the US got another major problem on its hands, y'all. Yeah. But China will not take any more waste. So what do you think they're going to do with that waste? I think they're going to drop a lot of it in the ocean. That's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but if China won't take the waste and is piling up in the US, they're probably going to push a lot of it into the ocean. But what do you think? I think this is going to be a good year, y'all. I think this is going to be a good year. You know, we are really going to see the hurting that the house of Edom have on them. And really anybody that has disrespected the children of Israel, they are going down this year. You're going to see a lot of people go down. But it's a smart move on China because you know what trash piling up creates disease. In the US already battling an opioid problem, and now China won't take the trash. Woo, man, you can't make it up. Yeah, I just hope they don't get so crazy, that they start telling us to do stupid things. I don't know. This could have a domino effect on us as well if they don't know where to put this trash piling up that they're used to sending over to China. Oh yeah, it's just like the Attila the Hun movies, and Attila the Hun was black. I mean, white. They always want to be something that they're not. Culture vultures. Yeah, yeah. So this is going to be an interesting year, y'all. Very interesting. Trash piling up, China screwing them over with intelligence. So they can't really collect any intelligence on China. I mean, it's brilliant what they're doing. They're either killing or jailing the CIA agents that are over there. So they can't gather no intelligence on China as they rise to world domination. Oh, they can't even spy on them anymore. They won't let the US spy on them no more. Yeah, yeah, you're right. S. Wiseman. This is more excuse for them to start destroying more things. Or what they'll do is try to bring that shit close to the black community. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with plans to find different ways to dump it around where our people live. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't feel sorry for anything. I'm looking at all of this as this is judgment. We are watching it. We're seeing this unfold right before our eyes. So it's only going to get worse. I just can't believe we are just in January and all of this stuff has happened. All Woo! It is going to get worse as the year goes on. It is going to get worse for everybody, especially Trump, since he's the one that's really talking the biggest shit about our people. So it's going to get bad, I think Melania is going to take his butt down while he's in office. I really do. Because, I mean, if she's as pissed as they're saying, she's probably going to got a lot of things in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if she already went back to New York and she's seeing a lawyer. I would not be surprised. Oh man, this is so funny. I just I just can't believe what's going on. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with Africa. Unfortunately, you know, Africa is also a land that has a lot of Hamites. So, there's no doubt there's going to be a lot of judgment going on in Africa as well. And that's just, unfortunately, that's the way it is. It's going to be the judgment on a big segment of the Black population there too, because they are just coons. It's just I thought we were big coons over here. Woo, they got some bigger ones over there in Africa. Well, you can see, I mean, if we can't dump off the trash somewhere, it's going to definitely be a cesspool. Yeah, especially if they try to burn that trash. Yeah, now you got more toxins going into the air. And these fools will do that. They'll try to burn some of the trash and they'll try to dump some in the ocean. And then, there goes your air quality right there. I don't know. What the problem with Africa that I just came to the conclusion with? A lot of the leadership, a lot of these leaders in African countries are just coons. And they coon to get that money from the West. And it's really unfortunate, but that's how it is. And that's why they got rid of Mugabe, because Mugabe was being very independent and they don't like that. They want us dark folks of the world to depend on them, whether we want to do it or not. And in most cases, we don't want to do it. And it makes me laugh because I had a couple of trolls when I did the story on China and CIA, and they wrote, "Oh, well, name one successful Black country." First of all of those Black countries, white people are responsible for all of these Black countries being poor. Every single one. Okay? So it makes me laugh when they come trying to prove to you that they are better leaders than Black people and they fall flat on their face. They are responsible for the poverty in Haiti. They are responsible for the poverty in Africa. Okay? We can be leaders. And the thing is, that's why they spent the greater part of 5 centuries of doing everything they can to suppress us. We already have a history of doing well for ourselves. We got Black Wall Street, Greenwood, Rosewood. We have lots of very good towns that were torched by white mobs. And not to mention 90% of Black men that were lynched were business owners. So yes, we can do it, but they try to hide our history and then try to play up this shit that we don't know how to do anything. And the whole thing is bullshit. I tell you what, we could do it better than them. What have they done that was so great in this world? Not a damn thing. Nothing. Okay. They're talking that way. Like, now, one thing I will give them, since we've been alive, their leadership is the only one we've seen, but that does not mean it's the best one. Okay, it's by no stretch of the imagination. That's the only thing that might be valid. It's the only one we've seen, but it certainly don't mean it's the best. They won't get out so easy. Remember, the Most High said they would wish for death and it won't come in these last days. They're going to wish for it and it won't come. Yeah, I did a video on Slocum. I did a video on that, the massacre. Yeah, we just have to do the best that we can. And remember, we don't want to get mixed up with the Gentiles, because when judgment come, if we are anywhere around them, then we face the wrath of that judgment too. That's why he tells you to separate from the Gentile. If you're going to stay with them, then you're going to die with them. That's just the way it is. And some of our people absolutely won't let go of massa. So unfortunately, a big, huge segment of our people are going to have to go. Oh yeah, I did Slocum. I did. And I did a video on a couple of places, and a few I did one on a black man that was a millionaire, and he had over 430 acres of land, and they lynched him and stole everything, stole his bank account, stole his home, ran his family out, took all of his acres of land. And I think like a year ago, they dedicated a plaque to his death. I was like, that ain't shit. Give the family all that land back. Of course they didn't, but they dedicated a plaque to him, a lynching plaque. Who the hell needs a lynching plaque? You know, they always want to give black people some bullshit. They don't really want to compensate you fair and square. They want to give you some bullshit that don't mean nothing. Oh yeah, well, see, the Most High is going to bring divine judgment on their butt. Okay, he is going to make things right. Even if they refuse, he's going to make sure it gets done right. But they're going through it. Like I said, I just can't believe how much has happened in January. This is just unbelievable. Yeah, you know, we'll see. They want to give us a 400-year celebration. I ain't celebrating nothing. I'm sorry. If they're not giving real reparation, don't talk to me about no 400-year celebration of slavery. Don't come to me talking to me about that shit. Anything so they don't have to give black people a dime. You know, no. I tell you what, they can celebrate all they want. I won't be celebrating with them. Oh yeah, you know, they're going to put on an arrogant front when they're talking to us, but yeah, they are literally falling apart for real. They really are. And that's on them. You know, they had 5 decades to do the right thing. They have failed to do it. I don't feel sorry for their demise. It's going to happen. It is happening. Yeah, I don't want to. Do you think that's what our ancestors would want? You know, they wouldn't want that crap. I don't want it either. Well, you know, wherever we go, I'm sure we're going to be heading back east because that's where we come out of. You know, the Most High is going to put us close back to our motherland because that's where most of us were. You know, and a big portion of that part of Africa was Israel. So we're going to be heading back. Because remember, America is going to become uninhabitable. So we only got to hang tough for a bit longer. I really don't think it's going to be too much longer. You know, in the Torah, he says 400 years. That's what the Most High said, not a second longer. Not a second longer. Oh, things are going to change. You when we start making our move, it's going to be a lot of shifting and changing going on, even in Africa and all parts of the Middle East. The people that you see ruling, they won't be ruling for long. Remember, everybody's going to go back to their own group. Everybody's going back to their own group. Well, see, I don't understand many of the folks in South Africa. How are you going to let this tiny group of white people dominate your country? And on top of that, they got the nerve to tell black people they can't come in certain parts of South Africa. You don't even belong there. Well, see, it's going to get to the point. See, China is going for world domination. I really believe once, because all of the countries are now flocking to China. And I really truly believe that once the shift is complete and everybody is going to China, no one is going to even listen to the US. I think it's going to get so bad that when the US try to reach out and communicate with other countries, they're going to just tune them out. Nobody's going to listen to the US. And I think people are going to stop trading with not only the US, but all of the European nations. Everybody's going to stop trading with them. And that should pretty much seal the with them. You know, if America can't trade, America's finished. And China is slowly doing trade deals all over this globe with a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah, look, they damn near took over Jamaica. Yeah, but you know what? Moab's rise, Kathy, is just 3.5 years. It's a very short run rise. Their domination is supposed to last no more than 3.5 years. That's it. Look, all America got to do is make good on our reparations and let us go. This can all end for them. All this misery can end for them. But, you know, their arrogance, they're not going to do it. So they're going to have to suffer the consequences. That's their problem. I'm not going to worry about it. And also, the Asians are on a population decline as well. They're declining, just like white people are declining. The Asians are declining as well. Kathy, it might have been on my old channel, but I did do a whole video on Slocum. Yeah, just like Pharaoh. Exactly, S. Wiseman, just like Pharaoh. I believe I titled it the Slocum Massacre, because that was the first time when I did that video and I started researching. That was the first time I ever heard of that massacre. And I did that video. And from that point on, a few other people did videos on Slocum as well. Yeah, I think we've waited so long for something. We have been waiting. It just seems like they were just flying high and not so much anymore. You remember, a lot of them can't even get jobs anymore, okay? Because, um, because of their drug use, many of them can't work like they used to. Back in the day, they had all the jobs and making the big fat salaries. Now many of them can't even get a job because of their drug addiction. Oh yeah, you can't have no drop in a population, a bunch of drug addicts. I mean, everything that they're doing is pointing towards death. Okay, it sure ain't pointing towards no damn growth. I'm not celebrating it. I'm sorry. I'm not commemorating it. I'm not celebrating it. That's not the kind of thing that's going to help the Black community. It's not. Now, if he wanted to do something, what he should have did was, like I said, invest in the Black community, pour money into it, allow Black people to get business opportunities in there where people can open up their own stores and run businesses in the Black community, fix up the Black community, and offer reparations. Then I would say, well, they really are trying to do something. But just having some commemoration from now until 2020, fuck you. I don't need nothing like that. They can keep that shit. Like I said, they'll do anything just so they don't have to give you a thing. I'm done with that. It's not genuine. So that's not a big sacrifice that they're making. So yeah, of course they're fine with that. I'm not even worried about it. I'm sure at the time when we do have to part from here, we'll figure out what we're gonna do. We'll probably have everything laid out for us. Believe me, I don't believe the Most High is gonna leave us out here stranded. We'll have somewhere to go and we'll have shelter. I really believe that. Well, yeah, Mother Nature, you know what they're also doing? Some companies are fighting to eliminate the drug test because so many of their own people have failed it. They want to, just have people fill out the application and skip over the drug test altogether because so many of them can't pass. Like I said, they're going to do everything to try to cater to their own people. No, we should not live in Israel. Not as long as it's being ruled by the Ashkenazis and the Khazars. We should not be there. I mean, even our brothers and sisters that are there, the Ben Amin crowd over there in Dimona, technically they should not be there. They should not be there. Not as long as that land is being ruled by heathens. They shouldn't be there. Yeah. In fact, a lot of the people in Ben Amin's over there in his group, a lot of them died of cancer. A lot of them Israelites got cancer because they live near that nuclear power plant over there in Dimona. They live right by a nuclear power plant. And many of them have gotten cancer and passed on. Right. You know, and plus the wars did not happen yet. But with Trump in office, we could sure believe the wars are coming. Woo! But we got a troll in the room. Yeah, yeah, you know, you're going to see a lot of things change because they can no longer depend on their own people to bring in. And I think that's what they're really butt sore about. You know, it was very convenient for them to keep these oh, okay. It was very convenient for them to exclude everybody and hire their own and keep talking all this. Well, we couldn't find any qualified candidates, which was just an excuse to keep these jobs as white as possible. But see, now they're not able to do that because so many of their own people can't even pass the employment drug test. So they really can't do that anymore. If they intend on keeping their businesses, they're going to have to hire people that they never wanted to hire before. But I don't feel sorry for them. Oh yeah, it's more than Japan. The Koreans are too. In fact, there's been several stories out about the low birth rate in Korea, South Korea. And China actually is on a decline. See, China messed themselves up from years ago. Remember, you only were couples were only allowed to have one child in China. Now in China, they have like this large amount of males and a very small population of females now. So they really messed themselves up. China had that going on for many decades where a couple could only have one child. If they caught you pregnant with another child, they forced you got a forced abortion. Yeah, so you know they pretty much screwed themselves over. But they said the males outnumber the females in a huge number over there now because of that, because everybody wanted to abort the female child. When they found out it was a girl, they aborted the girl, but they kept the boys. So we know that's how heathens roll. All right, y'all. So those were all the stories I wanted to go over with you. And we will definitely meet again next week to do our patrons only hangout. You know, I'm not going to worry about who came and who didn't. I don't care if it was just one person. We will get the show on the road. That's the way I see it. Yeah, you know, you're going to always have your segment of coons that are going to be hell-bent on grabbing up the biscuits that are thrown by master. You know, me, I'm not budging on their celebration. They can celebrate my ass. I'm not going out there to celebrate a damn thing. Oh, okay. All right. No problem. So we'll hear about this bullshit celebration. I'm sure they'll have it in the media soon, but I'm not even going to pay attention to it. I don't care. Black people don't need no commemoration and celebration. They need to do the right damn thing. Yeah, well, that I do always do a separate video for, live stream with my patrons. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you guys have a nice night wherever you are. Stay safe and keep yourselves healthy, because I really believe they are doing something environmentally in this country to get everybody sick. But take care of yourselves, and peace, family. Shalom.